The EU is split on its dependence on Russian energy. This is getting interesting. This, of course, as the war in Ukraine rages on. Talks underway in Brussels to assess the situation. Joining us now is Newshub Europe correspondent Lisette Raymer from London. Lisette, good morning. Good evening to you, I suppose. This is getting interesting, isn't it? Because you're starting to see, and this is what Putin wanted to do with his gas supplies, is to try and split Europe.
Yes, and it's starting to work. You know, everybody wants to be very united in this war and in this fight, especially when it comes to making sure those Western sanctions are as effective as possible. But some countries are going to find it a lot easier than other countries to say, yeah, we're willing to cut off our gas imports. It is such a contentious issue. You know, today at this emergency meeting, we've seen some countries say absolutely not. That's the likes of Hungary. They are saying we can't afford to cut off the oil or the gas. Germany, and this is probably, you know, the most hesitant they've been. They've come out and said we can afford to get rid of the oil by the end of the year, but honestly, realistically, we cannot cut off the gas by that time either because we are just so reliant on it. Germany and Hungary are two of the most reliant in Europe, Germany being the most. I mean, the amount of money that is being pumped into Russia at the moment over the gas is just astonishing, and I think there's a huge concern that it's just completely undermining those Western sanctions. I think the figure I saw was that every day the amount of money that is being given to Russia via the energy payments is 35 times the amount that the EU has given to Ukraine to help their war effort. So when you look at that comparison, you can understand why people are so concerned, and countries like Poland are so desperate to say we need to cut off the tap completely.
And it also gives you an indication. I mean, Putin's not a stupid man, you know. It gives you an indication as to why he does feel so emboldened and why he perhaps has had the security to take the measures that he has in spite of the sanctions that have been imposed.
Yes, and people have been warning about this for a long time. You know, this is not a new issue. It's been brought to the forefront because of the war and the, you know, really sudden urge to cripple Russia's economy. But for a long, long time, Europe has been concerned about its ongoing and deep dependence on Russia for gas. And there has been a very slow movement to kind of look at other options and establish, you know, backup plans for if something was to happen. But unfortunately, they just haven't moved fast enough. And now they are in this really trapped position where they are being threatened. And we've already seen Poland and Bulgaria have been cut off by Russia. Now the EU is holding this meeting because they're saying, OK, they've cut off the gas to two countries. Who's going to be next? And can we afford to do that? And the short answer is no, because it's just going to be a just devastating energy crisis if they do cut off the likes of Germany.
It's interesting. A lot of foreign policy experts in Asia Pacific are ringing similar alarm bells about the potential future in terms of New Zealand trade with China, a similar kind of dynamic that could play out in decades to come.